I'm just not so sure he's very good at this. I think there is a lack of charm that exists. And we've heard this a lot. And I was around him a bit in the House of Representatives. Charmless is putting it nicely with this person. And it shows up when he's meeting with donors. It shows up when he's out on the campaign trail. I mean, at some point you have to make people feel something. And for whatever you think about Donald Trump, he makes you feel something. But Ron DeSantis is a bit dull. And so it makes people very easy. It's not very hard for people to look at him and say, I'm not sure this is it. And they start looking at others. And that's what a lot of people are doing.
That was a Republican advisor. Okay, his name is Brendan Buck. And as he indicated in that video, things aren't going so great for Florida Governor Ron DeSantis and his bid for president. DeSantis has had quite a hard time convincing donors that basically contributed some pretty major cash to his campaign or to his gubernatorial race to essentially get behind his bid for president. But now some of those donors who provided a lot of campaign money are now essentially eyeing other candidates, including Nikki Haley. The donors are trying to make Nikki Haley a thing. We'll get to that in just a moment. But first, of the 50 donors who gave at least $160,000 in the years leading up to his 2022 re-election campaign, only 16, less than a third, provided funds to the super PAC Never Back Down. Of course, that's the pro DeSantis super PAC, which can receive unlimited contributions through the end of June. 8 other major donors gave directly to his presidential campaign, but not the super PAC. Now, the top 50 list includes 5 donors who are now financially supporting rival presidential candidates. And of those who are giving money to the DeSantis campaign or his super PAC, 5 are actually splitting their funds with other GOP candidates. Now, DeSantis does have a pretty well-funded super PAC. The Never Back Down PAC had nearly $97 million available to spend as of the end of June. The funds Never Back Down has raised, however, are overwhelmingly drawn from an $82 million transfer from the Florida-based political committee that backed DeSantis's re-election bid. And I want to get into the very specific donors just real quickly before Cenk and I have a conversation about it. So there's hotel and aerospace executive Robert Bigelow, who was by far the biggest individual contributor to Never Back Down and to DeSantis's re-election campaign. But all of a sudden he's changing his mind a little bit. Just last month, Bigelow said that he would not give further donations to the super PAC unless DeSantis adopted more moderate policies, and until I see that he's able to generate more contributions on his own. And what he was referring to there are some of the far right culture war type policies that DeSantis has implemented in the state of Florida, the 6-week abortion ban and stuff like that. Obviously, this billionaire donor Bigelow is not in favor of. Then you have billionaire investor Ken Griffin, the second biggest donor to DeSantis's 2022 re-election bid. He has also withheld his money. This spring, businessman Thomas Peterfy, who gave $3.6 million to DeSantis's re-election effort, making him the governor's 25th biggest contributor. A real indictment on our political system, to be honest with you all. Making him the governor's, again, 25th biggest contributor, said that he and a bunch of friends are holding our powder dry because of positions the governor had taken on social issues. So there's more examples. Cenk, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, so to me, this story is more of an indictment of our system than it is of Ron DeSantis. First of all, Politico, a major mainstream media outlet, writing this all like there's nothing wrong with it, it's perfectly normal. We're asking the richest people in the country, who would you like to elect? And then the rest of us will get to choose after the super wealthy have given us our choices. So this is the rich people's primary first. Ron DeSantis already has $97 million in his super PAC, and it's not enough. By the way, if you can't run a campaign on $97 million this early in the campaign, you're not very good at this. And like all they do is spend, spend, spend. For what? All you've done is lose 20 points. So, okay, but I was gonna do the same exact example as the one Anna just read you. That brother gives $3.6 million to DeSantis, and his 25th largest contributor.
Insane.
Okay, so you guys remember in Hunger Games, the sponsors will send in donations to the people that are competing, like weapons and food and medicine, etc. And so they have a lot of money on the line. They're betting on the Hunger Games, and so they help their preferred contestant there. We have the same exact thing here. Like, we have the sponsors giving millions upon millions of dollars in obvious bribes to our politicians, and no one even bats an eyelash. They're like, oh, Ron DeSantis not doing a good job of getting bribes this month. He's pissed off the sponsors, and so he might lose his corporate sponsorship. I mean his ability to win this political race to represent the people. I mean, this is a joke. The whole thing is a sick joke.
In fact, okay, so we mentioned Peter Fee and how he donated $3.6 million to DeSantis' re-election campaign, yet he is the 25th biggest contributor to DeSantis. Well, he's kind of soured on DeSantis a little bit, and so he has since wired another $2 million to a PAC aligned with Virginia Governor Glenn Youngkin, who, by the way, as far as I know, unless something changed and I totally missed it, isn't running for president?
Yeah, that's him sending a $2 million bribe to goad him into running for president.
Unbelievable.
And if you're wondering, like, Jesus Christ, man, how much money do these guys have? First of all, a lot. Second of all, just to be able to give money to these guys to influence them a little bit, it's worth 3.6 here and 2 million there, etc. No, guys, the tax breaks alone are worth billions.
They have to be. They have to be.
And so, in fact, we have a story later in the show about one particular tax situation where there are billions upon billions of dollars on the line. So they're spending millions of dollars to lobby politicians, etc. So this is just an auction. It's not anywhere near a democracy. And there's not a single national political reporter who thinks it's outrageous. They all think this is beautiful. This is the status quo. And we're just reporting on the horse race. Who's been bought more? And by the way, they give credit to the people who've been bought more. And Ron DeSantis is being chastised here because you're not doing a good job of kissing an billionaire ass to be our president. Thanks for watching The Young Turks. Really appreciate it. Another way to show support is through YouTube memberships. You'll get to interact with us more. There's live chat emojis, badges. You've got emojis of me, Anna, John, JR. So those are super fun. But you also get playback of our exclusive member-only shows and specials right after they air. So all of that, all you gotta do is click that join button right underneath the video. Thank you.